Flip to Freedom, episode number 35. Hey there, it's Sean Terry from the Flip to Freedom podcast, and we are on episode number 35. Hope you're having a great 2011 so far, and if you're brand new listening to this podcast, I am here to help you escape the 9 to 5 and live the lifestyle of your dreams by learning how you can make an absolute fortune flipping properties in your spare time, even if you have no cash, no credit, and no experience. Now, I wrote for you a book. It's a 129-page book on exactly how to quit your job in 19 weeks or less. And you can get that at flip2freedom.com. That's flip2freedom.com. Now, the whole podcast is about escaping the 9 to 5. So how the heck do you do that? Well, if you go back and listen to the 34 episodes that we have, the entire premise is to get 1 year's worth of your income in the bank as fast as humanly possible, so then you'll have the option to be able to quit your job. So think about it. What if you are making $50,000 a year and you're working this brain damaged job like we all used to, right? And you go out and you start flipping properties in your spare time. You find motivated sellers and you match them with cash buyers, and then you get a $5,000 check here and a $10,000 check there and a $6,000 check there, and you accumulate 1 year's worth of income, and you get it in the bank as fast as possible. Now that $50,000 cash in the bank, well, guess what? Now you have options. Now you can say, you know what? I can go out and do this potentially full-time if you want to. You can sit down with your family and decide if that's right for you or not. But imagine the day that you make that decision. You have confidence that you have something to do, of course, flipping properties full-time. And then you go in and you walk into your boss and you tell him, here's my 2-week resignation. Now, think about that. Think about that day when you don't have to go to work the next day. What would you do with your time? What would you do? I don't know. I mean, you think about it. You maybe wake up, you go to the gym, you maybe hang out for the day, maybe just take the day off and play golf. I don't know. But the beauty about it is you would have the option to do what you want to do. And I can tell you the lifestyle of a real estate investor, just the freedom alone is unbelievable. And it doesn't take a ton of cash to have an unbelievable lifestyle of having freedom. Think about it. If you're making $50,000 to $100,000, $200,000 a year just flipping properties in your spare time, imagine you can wake up and do what you want to do when you want to do it. If you want to take off to the beach, you can go do that. If you want to take a family trip, you can do that. You can get yourself out of debt with no more stress. It's an unbelievable feeling to be able to accomplish that. And I can tell you, in real estate, right now is the time. Now is the time to get involved in real estate. Why? Because think about it. We're marketing for motivated sellers. I mean, all you got to do is read the newspaper, and everybody knows that the market is in a massive depression. Why would people get involved in real estate? Well, motivated sellers know that. They read the same papers you and I do and watch the same TVs that you and I do. So they know it's a bad market. And guess what? You can tie up deals that are unbelievable, smoking deals. And see, this is the thing. Smart money is putting their money into real estate right now. There are tons and tons of cash buyers flooding into this market looking for properties that are below market. They can either fix and flip or they can use for rental purposes. They get Canadian investors, especially here in Phoenix, flying in, and they're just scooping up 15, 20 properties at a time looking for smoking deals. So if you're that person that's able to market for the motivated seller, tie it up under a contract, no cash, no credit, no experience. No one's going to pull your credit. No one's going to ask you for any cash. You don't have to use earnest money. 99% of the deals I do, I don't even use earnest money. And you don't need experience doing it, right? And then you can turn around and you can take that contract and either assign it or do a double escrow to a cash buyer that's looking for a smoking deal. You can close it through a title company, and then you'll get a check for that. So that's what this program is about. The program is about, and the podcasts are about, and I try to give explicit detail on exactly how to do it from step by step by step. Now, in this particular podcast, we are going to talk to Marcellus Heath, and this is actually a case study interview we did on our coaching call for the Flip to Freedom Academy, and he has a great, compelling story because see, he lived in Boston, Massachusetts, and then moved to Maine, a complete different city. He didn't know the area. He didn't know what was a good part of the market, what was a bad part of the market. He didn't have investors lined up. He didn't have a network of investors. He didn't have a buyer's list. He didn't have anything. He pretty much moved to Maine and basically he took my information from the podcast. He became a Flip to Freedom Academy member. He read my book and applied the information because he wanted to. Right now he's a stay-at-home mom. His wife. They moved up to Maine because of medical school, because she got accepted to a great medical school up there. But he moved up there, taking care of the kids and doing this on a part-time basis. Had limited funds. Went out and put bandit signs out on the weekends, and his story that he's going to tell is just unbelievable. He went out and made $5,000 in his very first month in a brand new market, not knowing anyone, with limited cash, no connections with any type of cash buyers, and made $5,000 in his first month. He's going to tell you exactly how he did it. It's a great story. I know you're going to love it. So, without further ado, let's dive in to Marcellus Heath, and he is going to reveal how he went out, use the information from the Flip to Freedom Academy and the podcast and the book, and make $5,000 in his very first month.
All right, Marcellus, let's start with you.
Okay.
Marcellus Heath, the man. All right. Well, let's first off, this is a case study here, and we can dissect what you did and then go from there. So first off, what's your experience in real estate?
Only background I have in real estate is basically taking a real estate course in Massachusetts and passing the test. Other than that, I have just maybe a couple weeks in a real estate office, which I really didn't dig, but that's it. But I have no real experience in real estate.
Now, do you own a house or do you rent?
Renting a condo. I owned a house, but we sold it.
Okay, cool. And what do you do for a living? What's your job?
Right now, I'm substitute teaching. My wife is in medical school, so I'm pretty much Mr. Mom.
Are you really?
Yeah.
Gotta love it. How many kids do you have?
I have two children. My son Jaden and my daughter Kaya, 5 and 8.
Awesome. So what makes you want to get into real estate investing?
The thing that attracted me to real estate investing was basically the freedom to determine my own wealth and just the freedom of life and being able to call my own shots. Before I worked a 9 to 5 with a professional team, and the hours that were sucked into that basically just kind of woke me up and just made me realize that, I wanted to get out on my own and take my own shot and just give myself more flexibility and to be able to have a better quality of life.
Right. That's awesome. Now, when you started looking, online and started trying to do research and trying to figure out, what path you wanted to pick, why did you happen to pick like wholesaling first off? Did you know about wholesaling, or did you figure that you had to have, cash and credit and stuff, or?
When I was doing the research, I came across all types of different programs. Just, reading up on this, reading up on that, and wholesaling just seemed to be the less risk and just the smartest way to go. I mean, you could profit on a property without having to put yourself in a liable situation, and do it at a low financial risk. So that's what made me choose it. I really didn't know. I heard about wholesaling maybe a couple years ago, but I mean, I was just new to just even looking into real estate investing. But I mean, this summer when I really just started looking at it, wholesaling was just seemed to make sense for my situation.
Right. Okay, cool. Now, when you started getting the whole, how did you find like Flip to Freedom? How did you like fall into that?
That's kind of funny. I was looking at other people's sites. I think I came across Flip to Freedom. Well, yeah, I came across Flip to Freedom on Facebook. And at first I thought it was just like a real estate investment company. And I think I clicked on you, and a couple interviews from YouTube, people were commenting and saying things, and I connected through one of your links on your site, on your Facebook site. Right. And after I saw your introduction to your ebook, I quickly ordered the ebook, and I've been hooked.
Well, ordered it for free, right?
Yeah.
Put your name in there or email in there, actually.
Yeah, I was at first. My first initial thought was like, "Oh, this is for free. Oh, this can't be that good." But it was when I got it, I was like, "This guy looks like he's the real deal." But let me see what's really going on in his ebook. I ordered your material, got your material, and I believe it probably was. Yeah, I know it was the most thorough information that I've ever read when it comes to an ebook, and I've paid for ebooks previously in the past, and this one was free. I'm like, okay, something gives here. This guy really is on his has some quality material here, and it was for free, and so I was basically just hooked ever since then, and just been trying to find my trying to follow you and absorb as much information as I could from the website at that point, because I don't think I had even discovered the podcast at that point.
Really?
So no, not at that point, but
cool.
After then.
So now you read the book, and in the book, obviously, and if you want to get the book, of course, you can go to flip2freedom.com and get that, and you can download it. But for people that that are listening to this right now, and they are listening to your case study, and you read the book, and you went through information. We talk about marketing, we're talking about marketing for motivated sellers. And how did you pick, because I know you did your first deal off of bandit signs, how did you pick bandit signs other than like direct mail or like Google or something like that?
Well, bandit signs were basically the, I have to go back to this again, was basically the more economical way to go for my circumstance, just because I just relocated to the area, and I was just low in funds. So
now where are you? You're in Maine, right?
I'm in Maine. I just recently moved here in August 15th from Boston, Massachusetts.
Gotcha. Okay.
So
why the heck did you pick Maine?
Well, my wife was accepted to medical school here.
Gotcha.
So, you don't really have too many choices. If one medical school picks you, you just got to go where it takes you. And
I gotcha. Hey, look how good a husband you are. Going out there, going with your wife, that's awesome. I commend you on that.
Yeah, I mean, it definitely wasn't my first place to go, because I was kind of apprehensive and kind of discouraged when I found out we were coming to Maine. I wanted to stay in Boston and do the wholesale thing, because I was really skeptical about this area. But I found out that you can do it anywhere.
Gotcha. That's awesome. A lot of people ask that. They go, can you actually flip properties in other than Phoenix, Arizona, and other places? And this is definitely true. I mean, I've talked and worked with people all across the country, and wholesaling properties, flipping properties. There's cash buyers everywhere, and they're always looking for good deals, regardless of what the market bears. So, okay, now back to your bandit signs. So you went out and you got a bunch of bandit signs. Now, it's not easy putting out bandit signs, is it?
No, it's not. But when you,
it's not a cakewalk, but it's cost
I mean, it's especially when you're solo, because you got to go through the different stages. You got to take the signs out. You got to put the wording on each sign. Then you have to stick them on each T stage. Yeah. And then you got to load them up, and they kind of rip up your hands. So you got to buy some heavy duty gloves from Home Depot.
Yeah, it's funny, bandit signs. I mean, they work like crazy, which is amazing. And you get a different type of motivated seller that calls off these little bandit signs. But it's not a cakewalk, for sure. But making $5,000 to $10,000 or $15,000. You think about what someone would have to do, to make that type of money anyways. They'd have to deal with a boss. Here you can put out some, 50 to 100 to 200 bandit signs a month or whatever, and then, potentially get some results off that, which is great. Now, obviously, bandit signs isn't the only method of marketing. There's yellow letters, there's, and stuff where, people just call them and you can call them back and screen them. But so you stick out some bandit signs, and if someone called you, how did you know that they were a motivated seller?
From the way the guy, when I basically returned his phone call, he called me on my voicemail. I called him back, and I asked him, you left a message on my voicemail in regards to one of my bandit signs on the side of the road. Mm-hmm. He basically just flat out said, "Look, I'm a motivated seller. I saw your sign on the side of the road. I knew if someone."
He said I'm a motivated seller?
Yeah, he's like, I'm going to just tell you right now, I'm a motivated seller. He flat out told me. And then my heart just dropped because, I really didn't have to say much after that. I'm like, okay, let's go through the questionnaire, okay. And,
Isn't it like, I say in my podcast sometimes, I said, you can't screw up a motivated seller because, they'll literally just tee it up for you if you're willing to.
Yeah.
If you put enough marketing out, put enough, they'll just tee up the property for you. Those are the laydown. That's the low-hanging fruit. Go ahead.
Yeah. The guy went out of his way to make sure that I understood what he was saying. He said it about 5 times before we got off the phone. He's like, Marcellus, whatever we have to do to make this deal work, I need to get out of this situation. I'm a motivated seller. I was in the sales business, and I understand how things work. I understand that you're in the business to make money, and that you're an investor, so you're not going to pay outlandish price for it. But then again, I just can't give the thing away either. But at that point, I knew he was really motivated. So whatever he said after that, I was going to get over there.
Yeah. So you're on the phone. He took down his information, and how quick did you get over the house?
Well, actually, it took me. I made a date with this guy. I went over to the house maybe the next day. I think I talked to him the night before, and I went over the next afternoon, right. And basically went through the house.
Now, how is the condition?
The condition of the house was pretty decent. It wasn't an ugly house at all. The back deck, the exterior of the house was in pretty doggone good shape. The only issues with the inside of the house that it needed a lot of updating. The kitchen floor, the family. It's a split ranch house, so right. The downstairs area needed some revamping. Some of those floors need to come up, but it's right. Not bad condition. Not at all. So
it wasn't completely trashed. Now let me back up before I jump into the the house and the stuff. When you're in your car, now what did you have with you? You had I'm sure you had your contract, right? You had some comps. So what did you have with you?
Well, and the way that I went about getting the house was, I remember having a talk with you before, and when I signed the deal, I wasn't as confident in regards to contracts. That for some reason that just had my stomach, and I was just nervous about it. So the way that I teed up.
So when you're going into the whole situation, you were really nervous, meeting the seller, signing the doing that whole process. Was that pretty intimidating? Because I remember, you hear my story when I first I knocked on motivated sellers' doors, right? And I knocked on foreclosure doors, But I remember the first contract when I went to Staples and I got the contract and I went out to my first one. I mean, I was literally my palms were sweaty, my mouth was dry, my heart was beating, and I didn't know what to say. I was just walking around the house and looked good and have to get a price. So did you have that type of fear? And
that's exactly what I had, just because I felt that it was a home run deal, that I was going to get the deal.
Yeah. But so you knew in your gut, right?
Yeah, I knew in my gut I was going to get the deal, but for some reason I just didn't want to mess it up, and something inside me just said, just don't mess this up. You know what I mean? Right. And I just had that intimidation factor when it came to the contracts, just because I didn't understand exactly how to go about the contract situation of it.
So now you've been through the whole process. Do you think that's the most intimidating thing for you of actually meeting the seller face to face with a contract, is in having to negotiate a number, or is it like what do you think the biggest fearful thing for you? Is it that whole contract thing and meeting them, or what?
Yeah, the biggest intimidating thing was before I physically met him face to face. Just not knowing on how I was going to approach coming across the numbers. I did the whole walkthrough thing, looked at the house, looked at in the interior, and was trying to pay attention to his mannerisms and the way that he was acting, and just trying to feel things out, feel out the environment, and just feel out his aura. So, and after coming to a certain position, as nervous as I was, I mean, I just got down to the point and just said,
right.
What's the number to make this deal work?
Right.
And I just remember listening to your podcast and reading what you had said, and I was just, I was listening to that on the way over, and I just remember, you use that line. Whatever I do, I'm going to use that line. What's the number that's going to work for you? Just so I could see what he was talking about. I had the comps, and I knew what area I was looking for. I was initially looking for 140.
Mm-hmm.
Gotcha. So, and I knew that's the ballpark that I was going to work around, and if it got too out of control, I knew I was going to walk.
Right. So now that you actually did that and you overcame that fear, you went to the house, you met with him, you got it under contract, sold it, made a profit now. Did you think the next one will be easier?
Oh, definitely. I mean, after the deal, I even find it. I have a lot more confidence in talking with people on the phone.
Really?
When they respond to either my letters or my bandit signs.
Wow.
So it just gives me more confidence.
So that changed you. So I mean, that completely. So there are so many people that I know that have that fear, and what was the real fear? I mean, what could you do? It could screw up the deal, but that happens. You're not dying, right?
Right.
He could tell you to get out of the house and yell at you, but still you're not dying, right? So
right.
He could you could get the deal under contract and then couldn't sell it, but you're not dying, right? So
right.
So you look at all these, people put these, they project all these fearful things of what the worst case scenario could happen. They play it through their mind over and over and over again, and then they just shut down and stop. And one thing in the Marine Corps, I mean, you can't do that. I mean, the thing is, in the Marine Corps, when you go to war, guess what? it got dying, you know? It's like when you're projecting stuff in your head, you're projecting a bullet going through your, you know? Whereas
Correct.
here, you're just going talking. So when it came for me of like talking to motivated sellers, I was just like, well, hey, it's not a bullet. It's not going to kill me, you know? So it gives you kind of a different perspective on overcoming those fears. But the beautiful thing about it is you went and you did it. You seized it. You seized that fear, and then you went out and you got the contract and accomplished it. So now you negotiated. How was it when you went through the whole thing, and then you sold the property, you know, to a guy that helped you out through the whole thing, and what made him want to buy that house? Was it for buy and hold? Was it for fix and flip?
It was for a fix and flip.
Really?
The guy that I sold the house to is a rehabber. He's also a real estate investor, and he knows that market really well. The area where I got the house is a great area, and the price that I got it at was a great catch. So he was really impressed by the tenacity that I was going at it, and the way that I was marketing by even landing a seller like that. And he was asking me, how the heck did I get that deal? And I just told him, my coach taught me how to do it like this. I mean, I guess you guys really never seen it in Maine like that, but that's how my coach taught me how to do it. So I'll give you that.
So how did you find this cash buyer?
Well, I did basically did some network. I went to the local real estate investment meeting, met some guys through there, and one of those guys gave me his number and told me that he was a rehabber and he was a real estate investor also, so he might have other connections. So we had formed a relationship just through the networking process, and when I found the deal, I knew this guy would be, you know, at top of my list to call, because I knew that he had a lot of cash buyers or a lot of hard money and private money lenders.
Right. Well, that's awesome. So yeah. I mean, he's probably excited that he met someone like you that's out there marketing to tee up properties that, you know, that I'm sure be happy to buy more. You know, unless there's 2 feet of snow up there in Maine, right? I mean, fix and flip and or what?
Well, yeah, he's actually basically, you know, trying to get leads off of things that, you know, don't really work out well for me, but I can just pass on those things for him, and I'll just get a referral fee or something from that. So, I mean, he's actually glad that we did connect. So I think the relationship, you know, works mutually both ways in that sense.
That's awesome. All right. So then, so basically, you took him to escrow. Well, actually, I think you just assigned a contract to the guy, right? So, and then did you actually open up escrow on the property and do a title search and all that stuff?
No, he just took it over, and he just paid me cash. He just paid me cash out of his pocket.
That's awesome. So you did, and I've done hundreds of those type of deals where it's a simple assignment. I usually get a title report on the property, just make sure that obviously the title's clean. But then I just let them know that the title's clean, and then do a simple assignment. And I've done assignments from $5,000 to $15,000, just on here because they're such good deals. So you assigned him the contract for how much?
$5,000. $5,000. Yeah.
$5,000. That's awesome.
Yeah.
That's awesome. Now, looking forward, do you see the potential of, it's about marketing, it's about finding those motivated sellers, it's about talking to people, but, once you get your system in place, can you see that, it could literally be ramped up to something that could make you a ton of money?
Exactly. I mean, the nights I was going out putting out the bandit signs, I just had a good feeling that something was going to come of it, and it only took me. It took me about a month to do it. Listening to your course, you said to go out for one solid month every weekend, every Saturday for 1 month, and put out so many amount of bandit signs. I went out every Friday night at 11 o'clock. Listen to the podcast to keep me hyped up with some Dunkin' Donuts coffee. I put out about 25 to 35 signs every Friday night. Yeah. after my third to fourth week, I got a phone call from this guy. I mean, that's one of the many phone calls that I got. So it took me exactly a month to land the deal.
That's awesome. Congratulations. Yeah, well, I'm excited. I couldn't believe you sent me the email with a check there, and I was in my car. I almost crashed because I was trying to look at my phone and check out one of your emails at the same time. I was like, whoa, jumping up and down. You know, it was awesome. It's good to share it. You know, it's good to share it with other people too. You know, instead of kind of being in your own little world and stuff, it's able to share it with other people in the academy and other people and stuff. So it's
right.
Yeah, it's definitely well. Definitely want to commend you for doing an unbelievable job with that, and especially in Maine too, because you know what, you know that's especially you went to a new market and you literally didn't have a buyer's list, and you found a guy that through networking and basically found a motivated seller, put the two together. Your credit was never run. You didn't take any cash, except for the marketing. And then to go out and turn that into $5,000 is just, it's an awesome story. It's an awesome story.
I think it's probably it's probably the smoothest 5,000 and easiest $5,000 I probably made.
Really?
ever. Just because, I mean, you're going out on a Friday night, listen to the radio, listen to the Red Sox, or just chilling, just riding around, putting out signs. You get a phone call, you get a phone call, and you connect with somebody else, and then all of a sudden it's a deal that that wasn't there before you were putting out signs. So, I mean, in a way, when you really look at it, it's simple in theory. So, I mean, it is,
and it is simple in theory. And I would say, I mean, you don't have to be a rocket scientist to do this business. All it comes down to is, I mean, think about it. Imagine if you put out 1,000 signs a month.
Right.
You know what I mean?
Right.
Or imagine if you sent out, it's 5,000 letters a month. Or imagine it. You know what I mean? It's
right.
And I don't know if there's, I don't know what the size of your market is there, or the size of the amount of cash buyers there looking for potential deals and stuff. But not only can you do it in that market, but you can do it virtually in other markets across the country too, as well. So,
right.
But
I mean, I would say the most challenging part is just to keep from talking yourself out of getting in the car and going out and putting out the signs.
Yeah.
I mean,
it's just like going to the gym, right? It's like going to the gym and say, "Oh man, I want to. It's cold.
I don't feel like doing it tonight."
Hey, but when you get back from the gym, man, you feel great. You're sweating. You feel good. You just did a great workout. Same thing. Now you feel good that you accomplished it. You got 25 signs out there, and let it roll. So.
Exactly. So, no, that was it.
Well, I just want to let you know, congratulations and thank you on that. So,
thank you.
Cool, man. Well, I'm gonna take. Thank you.
Let's do it again. Let's do it again.
Again, it's funny because guys, they go, yeah, I got my first deal, high five, and I'm like, for me, it's like, it's just an expected thing. You know what I mean?
Right.
A couple, 2-3 deals a week, closing and stuff like that. So when it comes to people they go, oh yeah, okay, great, let's go get 10 more. Let's do 10 more.
Right.
Let's do 30 more.
I mean, I feel kind of addicted to it now. I just want to keep it rolling and just keep experiencing it and just keep improving. So it's just one of those things. Okay, I've done it one time. Let's see if I can do it again and keep the ball rolling.
Thank you so much, Marcellus, for spending the time with us and sharing that incredible story. And I think the takeaway, the big takeaway, I think for me out of this is that he was afraid. I mean, he had fear, real fear of the unknown and of what was going to happen. Walking in, talking to the seller, having a fear of the contract, of creating the contract and negotiating the contract or trying to sell the property. So there was a fear, and that fear was in me. And the fear is in you. The fear is in everybody you know. And people stop. They won't let themselves accomplish things with that fear. That fear will stop them from reaching their goal because, see, people have a desire for gain. And see, now the desire for gain could be, oh my gosh, I want the freedom. I want to have a nice house. I want to be able to come and go as I please. I want to be able to get into real estate. I want to be able to do whatever. So you have the freedom to do whatever you want to do and live the lifestyle and have and do and be and all these things. And you're full of excitement in your mind of accomplishing all these great things. And that is the desire for gain. And then there's the fear of loss, or the fear of actually doing that. And that fear in our gut, whether it be talking to a motivated seller, or whether it be taking a call, or whether it be whatever, wondering if you could sell the property, that fear completely stops us from accomplishing those great things. So what is this fear? Let's analyze it. What is this fear? This fear that we're talking about is something in your mind. It's 90% mental. Because what we do is we take an event in our mind and we project it into the future and try to anticipate what could happen. Now, how stupid is that? We all do it. I do it. Everybody does it. We're going, oh my gosh, I don't, if I go to the motivated seller's house and what if he knows I don't know a lot about contracts, and what if I screw up and say the right thing, and what if I screw up on the deal and I completely blow it, and what if I do get it under contract and then I can't sell it? People freak out because they're projecting all this, what if I can't do this, what if I can't do that, and what if I can't do this? Well, I'm going to tell you right now, for things to change, you got to change. And the biggest thing you can change is saying, instead of what if I can't do it, saying what if I can do it? What if I can, go to the house? What if I can get the contract? What if I can get the deal? What if I can sell it? What if I can make $10,000? What if I can get out of my job? What if I can make a fortune? What if I can live a lifestyle that I only dreamed? See, you can talk yourself into it because it's 90% mental. Because if you can, or if you can't, you're right. So pick what you want. Pick what you want. What do you want to be right? Whatever you think. If you can't, or if you can, you're right. So when I look at this, everybody has those fears. And I heard a compelling story by Les Brown. And he talked about when we get to the point in our life, because see, between where we are today and the end of our life, the only thing in the middle is time. And I know we get busy in the rat race, and we go to work, and we come home, and we play with the kids and get them to bed and wake them up for school and do whatever. We got this constant thing going on, and guess what? Next thing you know, it's Saturday. Next thing you know, it's Tuesday. Next thing you know, it's Saturday again. And holy cow! I mean, think about it. How fast did 2010 go? Man, it flew by. 2011 is going to fly by too. But if we don't make a decision and say, listen, I'm going to build something for myself. And it starts with education. It starts with education. It starts with action. And I've seen people that educate themselves to death, but they actually do no action. See, I'm the opposite. I am ready, fire, and then I aim. That's just the way I am. And because I believe in massive action, I'll figure it out on the way. So Les Brown told the story about when we get to the end and we're sitting on our deathbed and we think about it. It's almost like, I'm 40 years old, and I look back when I was 18 or 20. I still had the same brain, same thinking, same all the type of stuff. Obviously, I've matured, but the only thing that's changed is my body. What's going to happen too? You're going to be 80 years old, 85 years old, sitting in your deathbed. Your body's going to be old as heck, but your brain's going to be going, wow, I got to do stuff. Let's do something, right? That's what your brain's going to be doing. So now you're thinking there, you're laying in this old, decrepit body and dying, and your brain's going, holy cow, I should have done this. I should have went out and overcame that fear and got that contract. I should have marketed for motivated sellers. And this is just small time. Yeah, I mean, real estate is such a big thing, and real estate is just a way to make money. But when you're on your deathbed, I guarantee you're not going to think about, you should have marketed for motivated sellers. You're going to think, wow, I should have spent more time with my family. I should have went on vacation more. I should have, been able to go to all my kids, sporting events and school events and this and that. Those are the regrets we're going to have. And then there's going to be these ghosts of these great ideas, these ghosts of these things that we wanted to accomplish and wanted to do. And our brain, remember, is still going to be racing, going, man, I can't do it now because I'm done. I'm done. Expired. You don't want to get to that point and have the massive amount of regret that you didn't step up, make a decision, get some education, and take some massive action to get a result between now and that time. Because think about it. You could be the other type of person that has literally just squeezed the potential out of every aspect of their life. Like an orange, a pulp. So when you're laying there and you're laying in your deathbed and your body is like, decrepit and old, and your brain is going, hey, I did it. I've accomplished so much. I have no regrets. See, the sad thing is that we're going to get to that point sooner than you think. And if we don't start right now, right where you stand, right where you are, fire, ready, aim, then the time is going to slip by. I mean, I look at it and I'm like, I'm 40 years old. I'm like, holy cow, I can't believe it. My kids I got a 12-year-old daughter that's just, blossoming into this unbelievably beautiful young lady. And I got my 7-year-old that's going to be 8 in March. And I look at her and I'm going, holy cow, man, she's a little woman growing. And I look at that of what they've grown and become, but it was like a split second. I look back and I was like, it's just okay. Not that long ago, I was holding them. That's how fast time goes. So if you can't feel the urgency in my voice saying, listen, now is the time, not only for the real estate market, not only for your life, now is the time to make a decision to commit to getting every ounce of potential out of your life. So when you lay there and your mind's racing around like you're 20 years old and your body's ready to go and expired, that your mind can be going, you're going to have a smile of, I did it. I did it. I was with my family. I lived my life. I was a great dad. And I was a, great husband. I was a great leader in my community. Whatever it is. That's one of the reasons I started this podcast. Because you know what? To give back. I hope and I pray to God every day that I will impact you in your life in a way that's the best thing that could ever happen. I get so many emails and calls from people going, oh my gosh, thank you so much. And it's incredible, and not to at all say anything about because I'm just an average everyday guy just trying to share with people how they can have an incredible life. And now is the time. Now is the time. If you'd like to learn more, please go to flip2freedom.com. Flip2freedom.com. You can download my free 129-page book. As I stand right now at the date, I think it's January 12th, January 18th, the Flip to Freedom Academy will open shortly for a select few, and I look forward to working with a select few of you. And if I don't, that's okay, because I'll still be producing this podcast and you can listen to it. And I hope you take this information from the podcast and from Marcellus and some of these other people that I've done interviews and case studies with, and share the information, and you take it and you run with it. And you run with it and make it something bigger and better than I've ever dreamt. Because the possibility and the potential is out there. If you think you can, or if you think you can't, you're right.